thoughts of my guests here in studio. Gentlemen, even as this decision has been made, very briefly, how do we really move forward? Because this decision is just one, maybe that's just a tip of the iceberg, considering what has been happening here in the country. I'll start with you, Mkhwana. Very brief statement as we wrap up.
Yes, thank you, Betty. Yeah. First of all, hongera kwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Mahakama ishaamua ni yeye. Kulingana na sheria, mahakama ishaamua imeamua. So, according to the law, the court has upheld. We do not have the reasons. Therefore, as lawyers, we cannot really look into the what we call the main reasons for the decision.
Right.
We'll reserve it. However, as I said from the beginning, elections are competitive. That is the reason why the rules must always be accepted as being fair before we reach this position. The courts look at the evidence and how the petitioners have prosecuted their case. Losing the petition may not necessarily because there was no case. There are many factors that could contribute. However, the decision of the court therefore means that President Uhuru will be sworn in. What happens outside the swearing in and everything else is that we are in no better position than where we were before that decision. And as I said at the beginning of the show, either way, that does not change the problem. I have always advocated for dialogue. The truth is that the process of the October 26th elections had challenges, had problems. And that is why NASA pulled out. You cannot and will never ignore NASA because they form a substantial part of the population. We must listen to them. Whether Uhuru is the president or not, you must listen to them. And we must dialogue so that we have one country.
All right.
Because if there is no perceived justice, there can be no peace. Peace is based on fairness. So the rest of the population must not only see fairness, but the fairness must be manifest.
All right.
To the rest of the Kenyans, let's maintain peace, even as we go through this phase.
All right, Mamboleo, your final brief remarks.
I just want to say that democracy has electing a president.
Yes.
And I want to take this opportunity to also congratulate His Excellency, the President Uhuru Kenyatta, for his re-election. And I want to say at this particular point in time that, you know, in a democracy, the majority will have their way and the minority will always have their say. So it is now incumbent upon the president, as he takes over as the president in his second term, to relook at the challenges that continue bedeviling this country. These challenges are not unique to Kenya. They are challenges that face many countries of the world. We have socio-economic, political problems that we need to address. And I think as he crafts his new government and as he embarks on the agenda of transformation, as he's talked about so often, he's going to consider the grievances that some Kenyans might have. Now, to get back to this political problem, I want to ask NASA supporters and the leadership of NASA also to always remember that just the same way they keep saying that, you know, NASA has an important, significant following, they should also remember that Jubilee as well, or the leadership, the government also have a sufficient following in this country. And so no one should have the license to speak as if the other side does not exist. So the same way they ask for respect from government, they should also show government some respect. But most importantly, they should make sure that they conduct themselves within the Constitution and the law. If we must have a dialogue, then let it not be a dialogue between Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta deciding on, you know, you have lost this election, so how are you going to be given a decent exit, you know? Let it be a dialogue about Kenyans. Let it be a dialogue in which we are going to be methodical and systematic. Let us frame the issues properly.
All right.
Now, let's not assume that, you know, we are going to solve all the issues that surround this country on the basis of a discussion just about this election.
All right.
Let us sit down and frame those issues, bring them to the table, and once we have a discussion about these issues, if we require to do certain things like amend the Constitution or change the laws and so on and so forth, that should follow that particular meticulous discussion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, James Mamboleo and Alutala.